Hi, I'm Paul, activist and volunteer. Have been with Greenpeace for about 10 years now. A couple of weeks ago I was very fortunate to be able to go to Durban, South Africa for COP17, Conference of Polluters, the 17th annual one. Spent a few weeks there with activists and volunteers from around the world, about 60 of us all together in a reserve near Durban CBD. Beautiful place full of jungle, and every day we get to experience the area with monkeys and meerkats and falcons and geckos and whatnot. It was a really wonderful experience. The most wonderful thing was spending time with like-minded, passionate people. We worked very hard preparing for certain activities that we were undertaking there, but we laughed really hard as well, and it was lots and lots of fun, and I miss them all greatly. Not only the people I spent time with there at the camp though, there was people in Durban that motivated with me as well and inspired me greatly. The local people, they were really beautiful, warm and welcoming. Even though I was told not to, I did kind of sneak out by myself and had a bit of a wander around, and everyone that I met welcomed me. And a lot of people, very poor and destitute people, were quite clued up on the problems of climate change. After all, they're the ones that are going to suffer from it the most. One story I heard was from a woman that used to live in the Nigerian Delta. Her family still does live there. Her ancestors have been there for thousands of years farming the land. A few decades ago, Shell built a gas pipeline running pretty much through their village. And this is her words. This is her words that, unfortunately for Shell, gas didn't make so much profit for them anymore, so they neglected the pipeline. Eventually it started leaking. At one point it exploded. It killed a lot of villagers, some of her family. And hearing a story like that, it can be a very emotional thing. But I've come to realise and that there's millions of stories like that around the world, and large corporations are able to get away with pretty much murder. The polluters are the ones that are getting their way, stifling governments' actions towards taking positive steps and tackling climate change. It was decided that we would try and expose some of these companies, the so-called Dirty Dozen. They were meeting at a hotel in Durban last Monday morning. Some of us got there a little bit before them and waited up on the roof to hang a banner whilst there was about 50, 60 activists downstairs holding banners and getting creative with puppetry and whatnot, and riding a carousel in front of the hotel with banners as well. It's quite a awesome activity to be involved in. Unfortunately, those of us on the roof, we could not deploy the banner because the winds were just too high. We really did try, but with 5 people hanging off a banner or holding onto it, and all of us getting blown up into the air when you're 8 stories up, it's a bit scary. Anyway, we weren't able to deploy the banner, and the police came up and arrested us. We were then taken to a holding facility at the police headquarters there. Really, got to experience the system, so to speak, in a different country where it's a lot tougher. We were held in sort of like an underground dungeon network for a while as well, and I could only imagine how bad it must have been 20 years ago during the apartheid era. At the end of the day though, the only discomfort we had to experience was physical uncomfort and a little bit of cold. The other people there had to experience a lot more discomfort than we did. We were there for about 9 hours before we were deported out of the country. Well, 3 of us, the foreigners, were deported out of the country. Leaving the country in that way, it was a bit of a shock to the system. I wasn't able to say goodbye to all my wonderful new friends, and if they get to see this, I love you all and hope to see you again. But at the end of the day, I feel very fortunate because I've been able to take part in an activity to expose not only those that are doing the wrong thing, but hopefully also encourage others to do a bit more of the right thing. And that makes me feel very fortunate and special indeed.